I'm currently in the process of buying a new bike. Very exciting, but it can also be very daunting. There's so many options out there and so much jargon to go through, and narrowing it down can be a real tough job. So I thought I'd share with you my process and maybe help you with your next purchase. This is the bike I'm replacing, my carbon road bike, my Boardman. I like this bike, I love it. You can see my review of it. I'll put the link below. And I have learned a few things though while riding this bike and my Brody and my hybrid, and so I'm going to put that knowledge to use in choosing my next bike. Some of the things I've learned are I prefer a slightly less aggressive position. This is a very racy position, and even you can see I've tilted my handlebars up to negate some of that. I prefer to be more upright, so I'll be looking at an endurance style geometry. And also from riding the Brody, I have learned I absolutely love disc brakes. I love the control, I love the confidence I have in them. And so I'd like to, and this is the main reason I'm getting a new bike, is I really want disc brakes. So I'm nervous to sender, and I feel like it will give me that extra confidence I need going down hills. Those are the main reasons I'm getting a new bike, because this bike actually is a lot of fun to ride, and I'll be very sad to see it go.
The process I use to choose my bike, I find it fun. I like researching things and all that. So what I did was 5 steps. I determined the use of the bike. I'm placing a road bike with a road bike, so that's pretty easy. I'll be riding 99% of the time on a hard surface road, so that makes that easy. I know exactly what I'm using the bike for. I determined my budget, so my budget is £2,000. Now that doesn't mean I'll spend £2,000, but I'm going to allow myself, if the perfect bike arrives, to spend up to £2,000. And I determined my priorities. So my priorities are disc brake. So that's the main reason I'm getting a new bike. An endurance geometry, because I prefer the more upright positioning and I ride long distance. I wanted to have Shimano 105 or better components, but after that, I'm not too picky. It's just a bonus to have higher end components. It has to be under 9 kilograms. I want it to be my light fast bike. I have my touring bike, my commuting bike. It's quite heavy. It's, I think, 13, 14. I'll have to weigh it one day, but it's a heavy bike, 30 pounds. So I want this bike to be under 9 kilograms. And I want to purchase from a company that supports women's cycling. So more than a pick it and shrink it bike, maybe supports a women's road team, has initiatives to get more women cycling, just some way supports women and cycling. So those are my criteria. And I checked for sales just to see if there were some bargains out there in the size bike that is my size that met that criteria. I didn't come across anything that was that exciting. So it's probably not the best time of year, just before summer, to try to find that kind of bargain, but I check out the sales, and then I created my shortlist. So I took my criteria, I took what I found, created a shortlist, and then from there, I read reviews and went into the details of those bikes till I had bikes I wanted to test ride. That is how I narrowed down all of the options. It's pretty simple, Also, when I see a bike, I kind of get excited about it or I don't. So, and I have my priorities. So if it didn't meet that, really wasn't an option. And if it did I get excited about this bike? So that is how I went through the process. One thing I just want to point out that you may have noticed is my criteria didn't mention material. I didn't mention that I wanted steel, aluminum, carbon, titanium. I'm not partial to any material. I believe they all have their bonuses. They all have their strengths and weaknesses and drawbacks, pros and cons. So I was willing to look at all of those options and see what came up. And you may be wondering, what bikes did I shortlist? So it ended up being the Boardman Tie, the Specialized Diverge, and the Canyon Endurance. Then they all got knocked off, or most of them got knocked off except one, for various reasons. One didn't have any in my size left in the country, which was a bit of a disappointment. One I just could not get over. The paint color everything about the bike was bang on, but I couldn't get past the paint color. In fact, a couple of the others, the Liv, the Rose, the other Boardmans, they all didn't make the list for the same reason, the looks, which is a bit superficial, but you've got to like the look of your bike. You've got to be excited about it. It's just a thing for me. It's how I chose the Brody. I came across the Brody company somewhere online, saw a picture of the bike, just was drawn to the look of the bike. And that's how I discovered the Brody bikes. And actually then it was good value for money. The pound was strong to the dollar. The bike had all the criteria I wanted for a touring bike. So I kind of stumbled upon it, but I had my criteria and it met all those criteria. These bikes met all my criteria, but didn't do anything for me. Because Rose bikes, phenomenal value for money. They do beautiful bikes. Check them out if you're looking. The color in the style bike I wanted just wasn't for me. So what is the bike that was left? And the bike I test rode? Well, you'll have to wait till the next video to find that out. So yeah, stay tuned. I look forward to seeing you then.